Yo, guys, yo. Boy, the timing was right there. We were that close, guys. Welcome to Pop's Place. I hope you can hear me. I think Statsbloke is off. Hey, Udachi Poinu arriving. Boy, look at all those new follows. Mildly apprehensive possum arriving. Almash, welcome aboard. Crispy Glitch, how you doing? We're gonna let some of these new follows in here. Gim Leo 0712. Saber Gunner. Awesome. Look at those guys coming in here. Trash Gordon. Welcome to Pop's Place. Oh my gosh. Euro Guraro. Welcome to Pop's Place. Ski Meister, thanks for being here. Rubber Duck. Rubber Duck is here. SS142 is here. Thanks for the follows, my friends. Thanks for the follows. I probably should have turned these alerts off, but hopefully by the time that Statsbloke gets back, these new alerts will be over. We can hope. How is everybody tonight? I hope you had a good time streaming there with Statsbloke, and I appreciate the raid. Urban Hangman, thanks for the follow. Ecotech EU, thank you for the follow. Pac Manly, I'm doing all right. Good to see you. I'm cold. Guys, if I don't see everyone in the chat over there, I apologize. We're going to wait for Statsbloke to get in, and then we're going to start up with the interview. We will have to play with the audio and the video picture size just a little bit because usually I like to have these set up, like 15 minutes beforehand, then we go live together. But Statsbloke suggested this raid thing, and we'll see how it works out. How is everybody tonight? Hopefully you're all well. And if you have any trouble with the audio, let me know. There's no music playing in the background. It's just going to be me, Stats, and you guys. So hopefully everything is okay. And Pac-Man, this isn't the time for that conversation, man. Statsbloke says he's ready. Let me see if I can institute a call here. And we'll see how we'll see what that comes up. Oh, it wants me to ban him. I'm not going to ban him. What do you mean ban him? I'm going to call him. Ring a ding, ring a ding, ring a ding ding, ring a ding. Hi, Stats. I'm not sure your voice is on stream yet, but I got to grab your video. Stand by. Nice background, by the way.
I thought I accidentally used this as my video intro on the stream.
That's very nice. All right, your voice is live. I got that part right. Let me grab the. Let me grab the screen. There it is. Properties. Discord. Promote your stream. Statsbloke. There you are. I'll have to resize it as it comes in here, but we should grab it. Where'd it go? It's gone. I can't bring you on.
You got OBS drives me crazy sometimes.
Yeah. Give me a second. Capture method, window, Statsbloke. Oh, maybe I grabbed the wrong window. It needs to be Discord. There you are. I got you now.
Yay! Let's get there. I am.
Yep. Almost ready. Almost ready. Let me...
Almost my entire head is in the frame. Excellent.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Hang on. We're going to reset.
Do I need to move myself a little bit?
No, I don't think so. I think it's me. I had it set up for Kidney Cowboy, and Kidney, he's got a big head, and
I tell you what, my head is enormous. I have to have if I have a motorcycle helmet or something, I have to have a special size. My head is huge.
Speaking of motorcycle helmets, I just threw 2 or 3 of those away from age. I want to make that a little smaller. You're a little. Stand by, guys. We'll get this right. I promise.
There's no rush.
At half your. That. How's that for perfection, guys? You okay with that?
Great. No, I'm fine with it.
Now
it's Kidney.
Now we got Kidney Cowboy rating with 116 people. And we're gonna have some people here tonight, Stats. We really
awesome.
are. Now I wonder if I bring this screen up, that shouldn't bother that a bit. Stats, how are you? How was your stream today? Good?
It was lovely. I'm just going to move you over the other side so I'm looking the right way, not looking out of the screen. The stream today was great. I was doing some ranked, just finishing off ranked. I was playing Benham because last week I played Benham and just basically did straight wins and had a really, really good session. So I was seeing if I could repeat that yesterday and today. No, is the answer to that question. But it's a great fun. It's a fun little ship to play. So I'm playing it for that reason mainly, so that I don't get frustrated. Because if you're playing a ship that you like, it's more fun. So
yeah,
but it got there eventually. I'm just staying in silver. So just to have a nice chilled out time. So
now for all the folks that don't know you, what part of the world are you located in? That
I am located in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, otherwise known as the UK. Specifically, I am in England. I'm in the southwest of England, sort of near the Cotswolds area. Not quite. Around sort of where Bristol and Bath are. So just before you hit the sort of bit that sticks out of the bottom of England, where Devon and Cornwall are, just above that. It's a very rural part of the area. There's lots of farms, and this area in particular is really known for pig farming and also for apple production. So there's lots of cider and things like that going on around here. Yeah.
So it's kind of out in the country-ish a little bit where you're at. Yeah. Very nice.
I mean, so Bristol and Bath are quite big cities, but they're immediately surrounded by farmland, basically. So it's a very, very, very green area, which is great. I love the countryside. It suits me. I grew up in London. So, and I've not really been back since I was 18. I loved the city, but now I just like visiting. I couldn't live there because it's too many people, and it's too noisy and smelly, and the countryside is smelly, but in a different way.
Different way.
In a good way, yeah.
Now, is that anywhere near Portsmouth?
Not. I mean, I lived for a year in the States. By your standards of close, yes, it's next door. By our standards of close, no, it's a long way away. So if I was to drive to Portsmouth from here, it'd probably take about 2 hours.
Okay.
which for us is quite a long way, but for you guys maybe not so much.
Now, the reason I bring it up, I was on a ship that we pulled into Portsmouth. Then I took 3 days off and spent them in London doing some genealogical research up there. So
Cool.
yeah, I had a great
Nice.
time.
How did you find
Stats,
London?
tell us about your dog, will you?
My dog.
Your dog. Yeah.
So yeah, she's bless her. She doesn't like streaming because when I'm streaming, like, and effectively I'm streaming now, right? So effectively, when I'm streaming, she is sitting in a room on her own with me just talking to myself. And obviously, if you're a dog, that's not particularly interesting. So bless her, during my streams, I can like see her on the webcam. I try and play with her before a stream and whatever, just to make sure that she's got some stimulation. And then I start streaming, and I can see her during the stream, kind of going, "Oh no, it's this again." And then as I get towards the end of the stream, she starts to get a bit restless because she wants to go out, because she knows we go out for a walk afterwards. And but she's a rescue, so I got her. What would it be, like 8 years ago now? I got her from a local rescue center, and she's probably, as far as I can work out, she's a Rhodesian Ridgeback mixed with a Labrador. Because if you search for like pictures of that mix, you get pictures that look a lot like her. But I haven't done like a gene test or anything like that. And she's got some behavioral issues because she's a rescue. Quite a few rescues have issues. So she's afraid of everything, basically, which in a big dog can translate quite easily into them not being very friendly. So she's great with people that she knows, but she's kind of dangerous with people she doesn't know. So I need to be really, really careful. But I thought, I can give her a quiet life, and so I think she has a good life with me. So that's the main thing for a rescue dog. So yeah, no, she's lovely. She's a great companion, and I say with people she knows, she's fantastic. So yeah, good dog.
Did you see? I tried hard to get us an overlay that had a dog right below you there on a carpet. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, I can see that. That's awesome.
And I do have hot tea on the table as well.
That's very kind of you, Pops.
So yeah, I'm drinking coffee here, but I got you 2 cups of hot tea, so you'll be fine.
Do you know what, that dog actually does look quite a lot like my dog?
I thought it did. I've watched your stream with your dog on there. With that,
and I do like a cup of tea.
Awesome. Stats, do you consider yourself a professional streamer, or just a successful streamer, or something else altogether?
It's maybe something in between. So I actually quit my day job back in July. So I was having some like mental health issues. I talked about that recently on my stream. I was having some mental health issues that probably weren't not entirely caused by the job, but were definitely exacerbated by me hating the job that I was doing. And so I ended up maybe jacking that in and doing streaming a lot earlier than I'd planned to do. Because that was eventually my plan was, okay, I'm going to, gradually grow the stream while I'm working. And actually it started up in YouTube, and then when I'm ready, I'll make that jump. Arguably, I wasn't really ready to make that jump financially, but was just kind of forced to by mental health stuff. And honestly, it's been one of the best things I've ever done. So yes, I'm literally a professional streamer, so a good chunk of my income comes from streaming. I do also have a freelancing business where I do various things to do with digital branding and online presence for small businesses. So their websites, advertising, logos, like just jack of all trades for that kind of stuff. And or just organizing that stuff, like going to third-party designers and stuff and getting them to do stuff. And so it's kind of half and half that. And I'm also trying to also get in through that way of freelancing business into voiceover work, which is quite a difficult trade to get into. But I'm just very gradually just kind of researching and building up basically the equipment that I need to do that. So I'm mostly there now. So that's going to be fun to get into as well. So no, yes, I do consider myself to be a professional streamer. I do full-time hours out, and you'll know what it's like with community management and things like that you have to do in the background, that even if you're not streaming what would be considered full-time hours, once you've added in all the stuff that you have to do in terms of community management, looking after your Discord, choosing moderators, looking at sponsorship opportunities, games that you can play, all this kind of stuff, overlays, disc, everything, it adds up to easily more than full-time hours. And then the freelancing stuff on top of that. So yeah, I'm pretty busy.
Let's talk about a little bit about the voiceover thing. Now,
Sure.
when you say voiceover, do you mean like what I would consider to be commercial work where you just use your normal voice? Or are you talking about using pirate voices and mythological voices, or what kind of thing are you talking about?
I would love to do that eventually. But I've never done any kind of acting. So I've never had any kind of acting training or anything like that. So in terms of delivering a dramatic performance, I think I would probably struggle a little bit if I tried to do a novel or something straight out of the gate. So my plan is to start off doing that kind of straightforward stuff, like maybe commercials. But what I'd really like to get into, actually, first of all, is just nonfiction. So I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And this is how I kind of really cemented the idea of wanting to do this, was the fact that every time I walk the dog, which is, every time after the stream at least, for like an hour and a half, I'm listening to audiobooks every single day. And so I get through a lot of audiobooks. And sometimes they're fiction. So right now I'm listening to the complete works of Raymond E. Feist, for example. That's been going on for like the last year. But I also listen to quite a lot of nonfiction, including sort of lecture courses from universities and things like that. And so I think I'd really like to try and get into doing some nonfiction, maybe some history or some science or something like that first, because then you can literally just use your normal voice and it's just reading. And then try gradually to get into the more dramatic stuff once I've got some experience of the process of doing it. Because I think if I tried to do novels straight away, I think it would be too much to learn in one go. So I'm just taking it a little step at a time and seeing what I can come up with. But I did, over Christmas, I actually did a video with Space Pick Shovel. You might have seen it on his YouTube, where it was just like a 1-minute video where he'd done some amazing animation. Little story about sailors. And I did the voiceover for that, and that was really good fun. So that's given me a little taster. So I'm quite keen now, yeah.
Did you happen to see any of my reading of the Christmas Carol?
I did, yeah. And also Captain Honor also does some things like that occasionally as well. And I've enjoyed both of you doing that kind of thing. Yeah, it's really nice.
And that's new for me as well. I'm thinking about expanding that, reading some more stuff. But it's a lot of fun doing that. I got more. Yeah. I think I got more enjoyment out of that than my viewers did.
Absolutely.
Certainly, Stats. There must be some kind of common myth about Statsbloke that exists. Is there a myth that you want to talk about and maybe possibly even debunk it?
There is. So all the time I get people, because of the name, I get people saying to me things about mathematics, statistics, this kind of thing. I am the world's worst mathematician. I know nothing about maths. I haven't done any mathematics since I was 16 in school. Apart from like a few things during my degree or whatever, but not really. I have no real interest in statistics. The reason that I am called what I am called is because, and my guys will have been going, oh no, not this story again. But during clan battles with my old clan, before I joined Throw, I was in a lovely clan on the EU called All at Sea. Lovely sort of casual social clan. But we used to do clan battles, and we took it kind of seriously. And during each match, what I would do is I would have what used to be called the matchmaking monitor open for World of Warships that shows player statistics. And so what I would do at the beginning of every match, before the caller started to give instructions, I would be saying, okay, watch out for their destroyer. They're really good. The battleship, maybe don't worry about it so much, maybe not so good. And just kind of giving an idea of the skill level of all the different players on the enemy team. And back then, my in-game name was John Gaffer Gun McLean because I love Die Hard.
Oh man!
But it was so long that it didn't fit on the screen. And so the idea, and at the same time, the clan had 3 players, coincidentally, who were all called something bloke or bloke something. And so we decided for a joke that we were all going to rename ourselves to we're bloke something or something bloke. And so we had like bloke beard, bald bloke, northern bloke, loads of blokes. And so I was like, I don't know what to call myself. And so they said, why don't you call yourself Statsbloke? Because you're always reading out the stats. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And that's just where it came from. It was before I started doing content creation. But now everyone thinks I do maths and stats, and I couldn't care less. I don't. I'm not kind of a like, oh, you must be collecting the like super container stats because you're Statsbloke. No, I'm not interested. Thank you very much. So yes, please don't ask questions about maths and stats.
No, it's funny you should bring that up because I remember one of our first exchanges that we had. I think I sent you a communication, might have been a Discord message, and I said, hey, I'm streaming, I'm doing World of Warships. You got any advice? And do you have any cool spreadsheets you'd like to share with me? I asked him that, guys, seriously. And he went, nah.
But that's fair enough. It's my fault for choosing the name, to be honest.
Yeah, and not only is it the name, your logo as well, with the bar graph on there for the logo.
I'm a big proponent of sort of owning things. And so, if you're going to call yourself Stats, you've got to own the brand. So that's where that came from. I also have quite a dark sense of humor. And so if you look very carefully at the logo, it also resembles something else.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're not
something else I've just thought you might think, but not that. No. It looks a bit like, a rude hand gesture.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very subtly.
Actually, that's exactly what I thought it looked like. But
yeah, that's not unintentional.
Yeah, I prefer to say it's statistical analysis of
that's totally what it is. Yeah, that's totally what it is. Yeah.
Oh man, too cool. Golly, Stats, how long you been doing this as a profession? I mean, even part-time while you were still working.
So I started, let me think. I started with YouTube, actually. So before I'd even actually really heard of Twitch, I started on YouTube. And the reason that I started was this is true, I got fed up of hearing some of my old clanmates who had like really busy full-time jobs and basically only played World of Warships once or twice a week for a couple of hours and weren't really up to date with the news. And I got fed up with them asking me every time there was a patch, what's in this patch? Or like, what's this change? What's that change? What's that ship? And so I started to make YouTube videos, not really planning on doing anything with the channel, but just literally just for them as a little hobby. And that's where it came from. So I started making what I called eventually the Foghorn videos, the news videos. And then started watching a lot of Twitch channels. Really got into watching Flambus like 3 years ago. And that kind of made me think, maybe I'd like to try my hand at streaming. And so it would be just over 3 years ago now. I started pretty much Christmas time 3 years ago. Tried my first stream, really enjoyed doing it. And it's just grown from there. And I tried to keep like a 50-50 weight on YouTube and Twitch. But as I explained to you, privately last week, doing those YouTube videos where the patch notes come out so quickly before the patch and then having to get the video out and publish it and blah, it's so stressful that I just decided a few months ago I'm not going to do that anymore because it was not good for me. And arguably not that useful for the player base either, even though people like the videos because the official video kind of covers the same stuff. So So sadly, I decided to discontinue those, but I'm still going to be doing like YouTube, like ship reviews and those kind of things. But I'm putting most of my effort right now into Twitch. So yeah, about 3 years.
Wow. Now you mentioned that you did YouTube first. Now I've watched a lot of how-to videos, people talking about, hey, this is how you stream, this is how you do your thing. And a great deal of them said, start YouTube first, then take your community to Twitch. Do you buy into that? Do you agree?
You can, on YouTube, you can simply build a large audience because, of course, on Twitch, it's not as well known a platform. Everyone knows what YouTube is. Only really gamers know what Twitch is. Some exceptions, but generally speaking. And of course, content that you put onto YouTube, assuming we're talking about non-live content. So if you put a video onto YouTube, of course, it's available 24/7. And so you can gradually pick up an audience who could be anywhere in the world, any work kind of schedule. Whereas on Twitch, they have to be available when you're streaming. And so that really limits the number of people that you can actually bring into your community. And so, yeah, I mean, that's pretty good advice, actually. Because then when you start to stream on Twitch, if you've already built up a community, you can put in, this is exactly what I did. You publish a video, you've got all your people watching, and at the end of the video, you just say, hey, by the way, I'm starting to stream. Here's the link, here's the times and whatever. And then the subset of the viewers that are interested from your YouTube video can then go and find you on Twitch. But it's kind of I don't know, you get some people who watch both, and you get some people who watch one or the other. So right now, for example, I'm not really watching any World of Warships related YouTube channels because I just don't have time. But I watch an awful lot of Twitch streams because we're probably going to talk about this in a minute, but I just really love the platform and what it gives you. So yeah, I think it's a great piece of advice because you can just simply build a bigger community to start with, whereas Twitch maybe starting from scratch on Twitch, especially if you want to be a variety streamer, is pretty much impossible. Single game streamer starting on Twitch is probably more doable. But yeah, it's good advice, I think. Yeah.
Now, have you noticed a large influx of World of Warships streamers on Twitch lately?
Yeah, I think when I became a CC just over 2 years ago, I think that was the beginning of the sort of the busy period. So I think I was quite lucky to get in. I actually made CC when I was less than 1,000 followers on Twitch, although I did have the YouTube as well. But it seems to be growing, which is great for the community. For us as streamers, I think it's very easy to think of each other as competitors, but actually, that's totally not the case. You could behave like that, but I don't think you would last very long if you behaved like that. Because we genuinely all support each other, and I've heard Mr. G say this. If you're a streamer and you've got questions about streaming or the platform or whatever, the easiest place to go for answers is the other streamers. And so we're a very supportive little family, I think, and we all help each other out. And so yeah, I've lost my thread now. What was your question, Bob? Sorry, lost my thread.
We were talking about all the streamers coming into World of Warships.
Oh yeah. So yeah, there's been quite a few new faces recently who've been very successful. I always joke with Flambus because he basically helped me kickstart my channel by raiding me a couple of times very kindly. And I've helped to do that with a few more channels. And so I keep joking to Flambus that he's now like a Warships great grandparent or something because, he helped get me going. I helped get a couple of others going. They've since then helped a couple of others get going. And so it flows, outwards and everyone benefits, I think, because we're not really competing with each other because that's not, there's very few people who just watch one channel. People tend to flit around. And so, and sub to more than one streamer as well. So, I think, the more active the community is, the more successful streamers there are, the better it is for everyone, basically.
Sounds good.
So more
But
merrier.
you are, of course, you stream mostly World of Warships on the EU server. What do you think the breakdown is on your community between Europe and North America? Do you have a lot of North American people watching you?
So I actually know this because for the current sponsorship that I've got going, the company actually asked me, or the agency actually asked me, what's your demographic? And so I had to actually go and look it up. And actually on Twitch, it's really easy to see. It's pretty much 50-50. Obviously, there's like a few people from Australia and Japan and India and places like that. But generally speaking, the rest of it is pretty much 50-50 from EU and NA. And that's lovely. And I kind of intentionally aim for that because the time slot that I stream in is sort of towards the end of when EU people are streaming. So it's after the big EU streamers finish, like Flambus and Flamu and Mr. G and so on. But before some of the NA guys get going. And I kind of intentionally slotted into that time slot. And so consequently, my community reflects both sides of the Atlantic, which is lovely because you get a real mix of different people. And I really love that. So I'm glad it's not just an EU community. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have any advice you'd give someone just entering Twitch streaming?
If it's World of Warships, there's probably slightly different advice to just generally. So if it's World of Warships, you really need to become part of the community because the community can really, especially the streamer community, can really help you to get going. And I've done this myself. I've been on the receiving end of this, as I just said. I've helped a few people get going as well. And so I've really seen the power of people embracing the community, getting involved. And to be frank, if you're going to be a content creator, you need to do that anyway to be successful. So you might as well start immediately. So many times I answer questions from people, and I'm sure you get the same thing, like, how do I get started streaming? Or particularly for Warships, how do I become a CC? And so you're like, oh, do you stream? Like, what's your YouTube channel? Like, I haven't made any content. Like,
yeah,
you need to start doing that stuff before you can become a CC, because otherwise there's no chance of you becoming a CC. And so I think my advice would be just do it. Don't give up your day job, because the chances of you succeeding and actually making it as a professional streamer are minuscule. But in terms of a hobby that might bring a little bit of pocket money, do it. Just do it. It's great fun. You'll make some friends. You'll learn some skills. You'll absolutely learn some technology skills, people skills, marketing skills, maybe, that you don't currently have. And build your confidence as well, because you need quite a lot of confidence to do this. In terms of, although you can't see the people you're talking to, ultimately you're going to be talking to quite a lot of people, potentially. And so just try it. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But you might find you do like it. And so yeah, I think that's my main advice. Just don't expect to become a professional streamer, and approach it as a hobby. And I think you'll be very successful. Yeah.
Awesome. How about you? What unique skills did you bring with you when you first started streaming?
So the people who watch me on my stream will know I've had quite a varied professional career. I've done quite a lot of different jobs over the years, and almost all of them have involved talking to audiences at some point. So I was, as well as going through a university degree where you have to obviously like give presentations and whatever and talk to your class, I also then went into teaching. So I was a classroom teacher for 5 years, for teaching foreign students English, business English. So I got used to standing up in front of people and talking. And then I went into the technology world, went into IT, and quite regularly had to talk at conferences and things like that. And so I'm just really used to engaging with an audience. And I think a lot of people, understandably, are some people terrified of talking to an audience of any kind. And so that's just something which I brought with me, which is really handy because I never had to overcome that fear of turning on the camera and going, hi, you know, because that's just fine to me. And also like having done pre-recorded stuff as well, like hearing my own voice, that also wasn't a problem because of recording countless hours of listening comprehensions as a teacher. So I'm used to hearing my own voice, which is another thing that most people hate. So I brought those skills and just a lot of general technology skills in terms of like basic Photoshop and just knowing my way around the internet and things like that. So it took me a little while to learn streaming as a platform, so Twitch particularly, and the way that YouTube works. But I think if you've got those kind of backgrounds, it's really going to help you get kickstarted. So if you're the kind of person that just has no fear of standing up on a stage and talking to people, streaming is probably going to be pretty easy for you, to be frank, because there's no fear involved.
Now, are you a Stream Elements platform or a Streamlabs OBS platform?
Well, neither actually. So I'm an OBS Studio purist, I'm afraid.
Are you really?
So yes. So I'll explain why. So I'm currently using Streamlabs as my notifications platform. I'm actually thinking about switching over to Elements and trying that for a bit because I actually used Stream Elements for a recent sponsorship because it was actually a sponsorship through Stream Elements, and they said you got to use Stream Elements for the notifications. So I tried it out and I was actually quite impressed with the interface. So I might actually give that a go at some point, just as an experiment. But the reason that I use I don't use Streamlabs OBS, is because OBS Studio, first of all, is not tied to Streamlabs. And so if I did want to jump over to Stream Elements, there's nothing to, no problem with doing that. I can carry on using OBS and just change the notifications. But also, I don't think most people realize, but Streamlabs OBS, the updates are actually a little bit behind. They lag behind the updates for OBS Studio. And so if there's a new feature that gets introduced or a bug fix that gets introduced into OBS Studio, you're not going to get it on Streamlabs OBS for a little while. I don't know how long that is, like months, weeks, I'm not sure, but it's a bit of a lag. So there is that. And just setting up the Streamlabs stuff in OBS Studio is really easy. So if you're already using Slobs, I'd say don't worry about it, just carry on. It's not a massive issue. But if you are on the cusp of starting streaming, I always recommend that people go OBS Studio because it's just more flexible and more up to date.
Interesting. Let's get back to World of Warships.
Okay.
Now, you said you made CC 2 years ago? Did I remember that correctly?
Yeah, pretty sure. I think so. Yeah.
Time's somewhere around 2 years ago. What was the difference between you as a streamer pre World of Warships CC and after World of Warships CC? Did they make a difference?
Yes. Not a drastic difference. So I tried to make sure that, like the advice that I give to people, where like you need to be a CC before you can be a CC, if you see what I mean. I tried to take that to heart myself and make sure that I was doing the best possible job that I could as an independent content creator. And then just when that CC advantage comes, because it gives you content. So you get as you'll know, you get like the test ships, and you get potentially access to information that you wouldn't otherwise have, and test sessions and things like that occasionally that enable you to be better informed and be able to produce more content. So I kind of grabbed hold of that and started back when we could make content on test ships. There's a whole rant about that I don't want to get into, but back when we can make test ship content, at the time that we were testing, I grabbed that with both hands and took advantage of that because the giveaway allowances that we had back then were linked to the amount of test ship content that we created. The complete opposite almost of what we have now. And so I grabbed that with both hands. But also, just the general prestige of being able to put the badge on things and get rated by the official stream and have access to wargaming in a way that other streamers don't quite have. It just makes everything easier in terms of growth, in terms of potential for creating content. But I don't think if someone's got their eye on CC, and not just for World of Warships, like there's partnership programs for all sorts of games. If you've got your eye on one of those kind of content creation programs, I think you need to just assume that you're never going to reach it and make sure that you can still create content. Because if you just pin all your hopes and dreams on that program and it never happens, you're always going to be frustrated. So I think just try and be independent, and that's what I tried to do, and I think I managed it. Yeah, but being CC, absolutely, of course, it's a nice thing, and it's an honor to be a CC.
Yeah, could I noticed a couple guys? I'm not really watching chat. I'm totally interacting here, but I did see a couple things fly by where they asked if maybe you could explain a little bit what does being a CC mean? What is that really?
So Pops and I are both community contributors for World of Warships. I happen to be an EU contributor. Pops happens to be an NA contributor. Doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. So Wargaming, like a lot of other companies, have partners. It's not really a partnership. It's like a accreditation program almost, where basically they're saying this person is a good content creator of content for our game. And that could be typically YouTube videos, it might be streaming, or it might be something completely different, like might be podcasts or art, or it could be anything. And they're saying, yes, we recommend this person. We've looked at their content. It's, the kind of content that we want to see produced about our game. The quality is good. The frequency of production is good. They're not just doing it once a month. They're actually doing it regularly. You should definitely pay attention to this person if you're interested in our game. And that has a few benefits. I think one of the misconceptions, and you probably get this all the time, people think you get paid as a CC by Wargaming. We are absolutely not paid by Wargaming in any way whatsoever financially. What we do get in exchange for streaming their game and showing the content that we're given to show, we get some ships for free. So when ship comes out, for example, we'll get a copy of that ship to show you. And so when, I don't know, like recently, Strasbourg came out, the new French battleship. So we get a copy of Strasbourg and we play it on stream. So you can come in and you can say, Stats, can you play Strasbourg? And, yeah, sure, I can play Strasbourg. And we can show you what it's about. And that way you know whether it's worth getting or not. And you can ask us our opinion. And we can talk from a position of knowledge, which a non-CC might struggle with because they might not have the ship unless they buy it themselves. The other thing we get, which is very significant, although it probably shouldn't be quite as significant as it is giveaway stuff. So we get some stuff from Wargaming to give away. People really like a giveaway. Actually, the value of the stuff we give away maybe is a bit hyped up, a bit too much by the community because it's just it's just a bit of camos and things like that. But it's exciting to do giveaways, and so Wargaming enables us to do quite a lot of giveaways every month, which is lovely, and I really have fun with doing those. And the third thing that we get, which is amazing, is we get really good access to Wargaming's staff. So we can ask them questions, we can submit bug reports, we can give them feedback. We sometimes have like town hall meetings, for example, like before Christmas, November time, we had an EU town hall with Conway and Chrysantos, and we were able to chat to them about various things. And very, very occasionally, but probably not as often as you think, we might get some little snippets of secrets of like upcoming stuff. But generally speaking, when we get that kind of information, we're not even allowed to say that we've got it. So yeah, if you see like a sly twinkle in our eyes occasionally,
oops,
it's because we know something you don't, but it doesn't happen very often. But yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks. Why is somebody asking me to ask you about Macy? Is that something I'm supposed to
what are they asking?
ask Stats what Macy brings to the stream?
You'd have to ask them, to be honest. This is the absolute honest truth. The reason that I have her on the stream as a like picture in picture is because where I'm sitting right now, I can't see where she is most of the time when I'm on stream. So she's lying on the couch, which is over there, and I've got a bank of screens in front of me, and I can't see her. And so to keep an eye on what she's doing, I have her on my stream preview, so then I can see what she's doing. And that is the absolute truth. But people seem to like having dog cams. So,
yeah, I think they probably were making reference to her stillness. That she just kind of,
But I mean, like I keep saying to people, like, oh my God, is she okay? Is she dead? I literally had that today. Is she dead? No, she's not dead. She's just bored because, like I said earlier, there's nothing going on in this room apart from me talking. So yeah, of course she's going to lay still because she's got nothing to do. And like if I get up and take a bathroom break or something, I'll go and grab a treat or a chew stick or something and give it to her just to make sure she's got something to do at some point during the stream.
Did I pronounce her name right or close?
Maisie, yeah, Maisie.
Cool.
I don't know why, to be honest. It's just a name I like. When I actually rescued her, she was called Chelsea. But I didn't like Chelsea, so I changed it to Maisie.
Gotcha. Now, I want to go back to World of Warships because I did have one question I wanted to ask you, actually a couple, on this line. Are you bored with World of Warships?
I saw this question in the list. I was like, that's a very interesting question. No, generally speaking, no, I don't think so. There's a lot of very interesting stuff going on with a lot. I'm not going to mention any streamers in particular, but anyone who's been around the community and watched different World of Warships streamers will know that there's a few streamers who are maybe getting a bit frustrated with the game. I'm not sure if bored would come into it, but some people are just getting a bit bored of not frustrated with the game for various reasons. And the word burnout gets thrown around a lot, and that is definitely a danger. And let me tell you, if you think that streaming a game, the same game typically, day after day after day after day is fun, it's not always, because if you take anything, chocolate tasting, puppy cuddling, wine drinking, whatever it happens to be, and you suddenly make it a profession and you put you tag an income to it. And particularly with streaming, of course, it's not a salary. We're not salaried professionals. Our income is entirely dependent on you, because if you sub and you give bits and so on, then that's our income. If you don't do that, we don't get any income. So it's a pretty risky thing to go into financially, because the income can and does go up and down significantly from month to month. And so yeah, it's I understand why people get stressed, because they've got an eye on their bank account and they're thinking, okay, I've got to play this game day in, day out for an income, and it just becomes a job in their head. And fortunately, that's not how I think of the game at all at the moment. I'm still enjoying playing it. Yeah, there's a few things in it that frustrate me a little bit. I'm getting a bit tired of the focus on HE, like a lot of people are. I think HE spam has become a little bit of a problem. I think there's a few ships that have been released recently. They're a little bit ridiculously overpowered, or just people think they're overpowered. And to be honest, a lot of things I'm getting tired of are not the game. It's actually the community talking about things in the game. I have, with carriers particularly, I have started to not ban the topic in my channel, but I just won't respond. So if someone comes into my channel like, oh, CVs, blah, 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 I'm just going to ignore them. And if my chat want to have a conversation about it, I'm totally happy with that. That's fine. I'm not going to silence anyone. But I just order the topic. And I'm sure we'll have the same thing when submarines come along. There'll be the vocal minority who are quite positive about it, and then there'll be the vocal majority who don't necessarily represent the player base, by the way, who are just change is bad, and we're already getting that. We've got no idea what the submarines are going to be like when they're released, and yet we're already getting a lot of people going, oh, I don't want it. Really? So when certain things happen, like the commander rework, for example, which we're getting maybe next week.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that. I'm honestly quite nervous because we're going to get a lot of questions. And one of the downsides, effectively, of being a CC is that people expect you to know what you're talking about. And right now, I don't know what I'm talking about in terms of the commander rework, and I don't think really anyone does. So, and we're on day one, we're going to get people coming into our chats going, what's the best build for a Brindisi? What's the best build for a blah, blah, blah? Should I put this skill on Kuznets? Like, I have no idea. I don't know what skills are yet. So that potentially is going to become one of the topics that I become quite frustrated with quite quickly. Hopefully not, but apparently there's a few initiatives going on. For example, in the Help Me Discord, there's an initiative to go on to build up a bank of builds from the community, from some of the most experienced players in the community. So we'll be able to reference those. So if you're worried about the upcoming commander rework, I'd encourage you to go and join the Help Me Discord, because there's going to be some material in there that you can use as a reference, as I understand it. So, and I will be using that as well. So yeah. So no, generally speaking, I'm not getting bored of the game. There's a few things I'm getting frustrated with, but right now I'm still enjoying. Generally, I'm still enjoying playing.
Right. One of the questions that just came up in chat: do you or Stats think that World of Warships is becoming overcomplicated with new commander skills?
No, I think, considering that submarines is about to be introduced, they had to do something with the commanders, because anyone who tried to build a commander for PC, for the test versions of submarines, would very quickly realize that none of these skills are relevant for submarines, really. And so if you had a 19-point commander, you'd be sitting there going, do I stick IFHE on it? No, there's no guns. Do I stick concealment on it? No, that doesn't have no effect. And you very quickly realize that you're going to have some commander skills for submarines added at some point. So this was a perfect opportunity for them to rejig it. And I think, if you're reading between the lines, if you look at the fact that it's got 4 classes split out, the reason they've done that is so that they can then add submarines on to the end as a 5th class. Makes total sense. And so I think it's actually, the devil's going to be in the detail, but the opportunity for players to really choose flexible builds, and by that I mean having a variety of builds to choose from, rather than, if you're in Massachusetts, you take this build. If you're in a Smarland, you take this build, and there being pretty much no options. Now there's going to be options, because you've got more skills per class. So no, I think actually that's a necessary change. I think it's potentially a good change. We don't know yet, but I think it's potentially a good change. The thing that drives me crazy, sorry, I'm in rant mode. The thing that drives me crazy with World of Warships, I'm all about the new player experience, because in a free-to-play game, what is absolutely vital for the health and longevity of the game is player retention. Getting new players through the door, 1, and then 2, keeping them in. Because if A, they're not coming in, or B, they're coming in, turning around and going out again because they don't like it, the game's going to die. And right now, I think for new players joining the game, and this has been true the entire time, it's very hard to understand the game mechanics, because there's not very much in the game that teaches you those mechanics. And so my only wish when Wargaming introduced things like the Commander rework is that what goes with that is more than just a devblog article that then gets buried after a couple of weeks and you can never find it again. I really want them to have some kind of pop-up that doesn't just say, hey, we've reworked commanders. Okay. But here's a proper animated overlay that points to different things and says, this is how this works. This is how this works. This is what this is. This is our recommended destroyer build, maybe. Things like that, just to help out the players who are less experienced or don't have the time to actually research it. And that I get a little bit frustrated with Wargaming, because I think they are shooting themselves in the foot a little bit by not making it easy for new players to understand the game.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's kind of deviate off that topic a little bit. I think we beat that one to death. uh, and my advice to everybody is in if I can get on my soapbox just for a minute, the one of the biggest lessons I learned in corporate America was embrace change. Every time I chose not to embrace change, to fight change, I failed miserably. And it took me a long time to learn that lesson. Embrace change, because odds are you're not going to be able to change it. You're not going to be able to stop it. You might as well embrace it and make the best out of what you can out of it. So there's my soapbox.
Occasionally, as a community, I think we like if you think about the origins of the Research Bureau. That's a very good example of a community just all suddenly going, no, we don't like that. But that's so rare, and with the whole carrier thing, it just frustrates me that some players are still 2 years later, because the carrier rework was two years ago, like next week. Still coming into community and saying, oh, carrier's bad because I just get focused every time I'm in my destroyer. Okay, well, have you changed the way that you're playing your destroyer? No. Why should I do that? They need to change. They need to be removed. No, well, maybe you should change.
Yep.
So I totally agree with you. You've got to, if something's changed, you need to change with it. Otherwise, ultimately, you're just going to be frustrated.
That's right. Biggest accomplishment. What's been your biggest accomplishment with your streaming career?
There's a serious answer, and then there's the serious answer, and then there's the jokey answer. The jokey answer is getting a sponsorship for Raid Shadow Legends. I think there comes a point in every streamer's career where they get offered a sponsorship like that, and you're like, do I embrace the dark side or not? So yeah. Anyway, the serious answer is when I started out streaming, specifically not YouTube, when I started out doing streaming, and just as I started to get to know Flambas as one of his audience, I watched him casting King of the Sea, the premier World of Warships tournament, the biggest one. And I remember thinking, just as I started streaming, it would be really cool to be casting the King of the Sea finals. And it would be really cool to get to talk to Flambas. 2 years later, I was, less than 2 years later, I was casting the King of the Sea finals with Flambas. I've done that a couple of times now. And I think I've done 4 King of the Sea tournaments. And to be invited to do that is lovely. And to be able to get a slot to cast the finals and to be able to do it alongside one of the biggest and most successful World of Warships streamers is just amazing. And so I definitely count that as my biggest achievement to date, because it's something that I literally remember sitting there thinking, oh, that would be cool. Like, just as one of those things you think, oh, that would be nice if I could achieve that. And I did it. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud of being able to do that. And I really hope that King of the Sea, it's going to evolve naturally, but I hope that King of the Sea continues to be a thing, because I really enjoy casting it. There's a lot of tournaments around at the moment, but King of the Sea to me is one of the most enjoyable ones to be involved with, because it's so well organized. It's really well organized, which as a streamer is really important.
Is there anything that you wish you had known before you started streaming that you didn't find out till a long time later?
I don't know. I think I researched it pretty well. When I go into things, I tend to make sure I'm kind of prepared. I was a scout when I was a kid, and so I have that mentality of, make sure you know what you're going into. I don't know. Yeah, I think like I was saying before, like the volatility of the financial side of it, I wish I had maybe asked a few established streamers who by that point I'd gotten to know, and said, like, can you just give me an idea of like how much you're making and how it goes up and down and all this kind of stuff, just so I can get an idea of what it's like. Because I think most people would not realize quite how volatile it is. So that would have been nice to know. And like expectations for, it's not really something you can know, but expectations for growth would be kind of nice. Like what's a realistic expectation for number of viewers increasing over time and things like that. And yeah, but no, I can't think of anything specific, Pops, that I would have liked to have known, to be honest. I think I did my research pretty well.
When did you make Twitch partner?
After my 5th application, I think it was March last year, so just coming up for a year, about 10 months ago. Yeah.
I have noticed that, of course, I know this anyway. The first part of the question is I know that you're a long time player of Elite Dangerous, that you've played Elite Dangerous for 4+ years. At least that's my understanding. Are you streaming Elite Dangerous on a regular schedule, or is it impromptu?
Yeah, I haven't decided yet. So, so before World of Warships, I can't remember when. I can't remember exactly when Dangerous was released, but when Elite Dangerous came out, I started playing on day one, and I played that solidly. I tend to not have lots of games on the go. I tend to be one of those people who just focuses on one at a time, particularly something that's as involved as Elite. And so I was playing that around my social life, but I was playing that like in the evenings after work and at the weekends and stuff quite a lot, and for a couple of years maybe. And eventually got frustrated with some updates in the game, and then found Fractured Space, which is kind of like World of Warships in space, essentially. And then Fractured Space started to come to the end of its lifespan. And the queue times were getting quite long and whatever. And then one of my friends said, hey, why don't you try World of Warships? And here we are. The Elite frustrated me a little bit, but I heard from a couple of people who were still playing that they'd fixed some of the things that made me quit. And now, because we know this year there's going to be an update to Elite Dangerous, and they're going to add in a significant new update which involves like getting out of your ship and walking around, which you can't currently do. I was thinking perfect opportunity for me to go back, have a look at what they've changed to fix the issues that I was frustrated with, and just get back into the game and see if I want to buy the expansion when it comes out later this year. So I thought, I might as well stream that, because I know there's a whole bunch of people in my World of Warships community who also play Elite, because the two games are kind of going to attract the same kind of player. So I think they have, quite often when you say to a World of Warships person, oh, do you play Elite? Quite often they'll say, yeah, I tried it. And also recently it was free on the Epic Store. So right now loads of people have got a free copy of it sitting that they haven't played yet. And so I thought quite a lot of people might be interested in seeing it played by someone who is reasonably familiar with it. Although there's quite a lot of new stuff in it I'm not familiar with, but I'm gradually learning that new stuff now and sort of remembering the old stuff. And I'm really enjoying it. I've been playing it a lot off stream as well, honestly. I've been procrastinating a little bit with some of my work by playing Elite Dangerous. And I've sort of, in my head, I'm streaming it on Sundays and occasionally on Wednesdays. And I'll probably continue to do that until Odyssey comes out, and then I'll try Odyssey and see what that looks like. And then if I think Frontier have some kind of CC-like program. So I'm going to see if I can talk to them about that as well. But yeah, no, I it's like I never left, essentially. It's just flying around and doing stuff. It just feels like I've never stopped playing, which is really cool. It's a slightly different game now, but I'm really enjoying playing it.
I do notice you...
And using voice attack as well, which is cool.
Have you started using voice attack?
I've always used voice attack, Pops.
Have you?
Massive fan of voice attacks, yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Elite and voice attack are such good companions. because Elite is basically a flight simulator. You've got so many different like buttons and controls and things that you need to do, and so being able to keep I play with a joystick, and being able to keep your hands on the stick and just give a voice command to do something that you'd otherwise have to reach over and press a button is just fantastic. And also, I'm a bit of a VR nerd. So I've got a virtual reality headset, and I have played, although it's not currently working, I need to do something to fix it, but I like playing Elite in VR, and then voice attack becomes even more important because when you're in VR, you can't see your buttons. So then you need voice attack because it's much easier to say like frameshift drive or whatever it is you want, rather than like fumbling trying to find the right button on your keyboard. So yeah, if anyone's playing a game like that, Microsoft Flight Simulator is another game. If you've got that or the Star Wars Squadrons game, or any kind of flight sim type game that has a lot of different controls, I highly recommend voice attack. And I know that you're a voice attack partner or whatever. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, it's time to get to the nonsensical question.
Oh no,
The nonsensical.
Okay.
I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm going to use it anyway. Yeah, it is now. What are you not very good at?
Knowing when I'm wrong. So that's absolutely true. And I actually, I'm not knowing when I'm wrong, accepting when I'm wrong. I'm a very poor loser. I tried to be better, but I'm very bad at admitting that I'm wrong. So I used to be big into martial arts. And when I got my black belt in karate, so if you want to, you can have like a beautiful handmade cotton black belt made, and you can have your name embroidered on the belt. And so it's like a choice. You can either have it in your own language or you can have it written in Japanese. And so I decided to have my name in Japanese kanji. But me, being clever clogs, not speaking any Japanese, decided, no, I'm going to research what my name is in kanji. And then I'm going to tell the embroiders what to put on my belt, rather than letting them do it. And of course, I spelt it wrong. And so, or used the wrong characters. So my black belt had my name on it with the wrong spelling. And I didn't realize this until I started to teach 3 Japanese students karate, ironically. And one of them kind of very bashfully, because of course, like in Japanese culture, there's a very strong like senior junior kind of respect thing going on. And so very, 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 very politely, this lad came up to me, and he was like, I don't know how to tell you this, but your name's spelled wrong on your belt. And I nearly died inside, And but I decided to keep the belt and kept training with it as a reminder to myself that I'm an idiot and I shouldn't just be arrogant and think that I'm right about everything, because the likelihood is I'm not if I don't know what I'm doing. So I tried to get better at that. I tried to think, am I right? Am I actually right? Like if I'm having a discussion with someone, am I actually right, or is there a chance that they're right? But yeah, I do that occasionally.
How about if you could have one superpower, what would that be?
I don't know. I want to say something practical, like time travel, so you can go back and like fix the past or whatever. But it's probably going to be something more romantic, like flying. Because I recently, actually, interestingly, I started a journey. I hate that word. I started to research and try to practice lucid dreaming. Big topic I don't want to get into right now because it's a huge topic. But I recently had, a couple of weeks ago, 2 months ago, I had my first lucid dream. And it's something that you can do. It's something that you can practice, and you can achieve lucid dreaming. And in that first lucid dream, I flew. And I don't mean, I had a dream about flying. No, I literally felt like I was flying. And that experience of being in a situation where it feels like you are literally flying, like you are there and you are flying. And in my memory, I flew. To have that superpower to be able to do that in real life and just fly above the treetops and over the mountains, and that would just be magical. So yeah, I choose flying.
Awesome. Good choice. Good choice. If you could switch lives with someone dead or alive, who would that be?
I tried not to think about this one too much when I saw it on the list because I thought I don't want to come up with some contrived answer. Honestly, I'm really interested in what would you call it? Anthropology. And so I would absolutely love to be able to either switch places for a day with a modern day hunter-gatherer. There are very few left in the world, but switch places for a day with someone from a hunter-gatherer society, maybe down in the Amazon or that island off the coast of India. I forget what it's called. The Sentinel Islands, where they're like completely cut off from modern world. Just to experience what it would be like in that society, or alternatively, very similar, be able to go back, say, 1,000,000 years, 2,000,000 years, and live for a day as an ancient human, just to see what life was like for a day. I think it would put a lot of things in modern life in perspective when we have frustrations and problems and, first world problems and those kind of things.
You probably wish you could fly back there if that really happened. Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. No, I just think that would be a very interesting experience.
How about where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
That is such a difficult question.
Yeah, I know.
So if I look back 5 years, 5 years ago, I hadn't even considered doing what I'm doing now. It hadn't even occurred to me. And so to project forward 5 years, I mean, I could be doing literally anything. I would hope that in 5 years' time, I've made the transition, if I'm still streaming, to becoming a variety streamer so that I can stream whatever I like. That would be nice. I think that's every streamer's goal, so that you can literally just go, bored of that game, I'll pick up another one. And your community come with you. That would be lovely to become a sort of Baru type streamer. I would honestly really like to be able to crack that voiceover work that I was talking earlier and become a prolific voiceover artist. That would be lovely. And I would love to, in personal life-wise, I would love to be living closer to my family because I'm not that far away actually, but it would be nicer to move a little bit closer because the reason that I'm living here was purely because of my old job. So I've got no ties to this area at all apart from my old job. So it would be lovely to be able to move back closer to my family again. So yeah, it's really hard to say, but I'd like to see gradual continuation of the growth that I've seen with the stuff that I'm currently doing because it's lovely.
Yeah, somebody's asking me if I'm going to name a dinosaur after you in Jurassic World Evolution. I've been naming my dinosaurs after my viewers, so yeah, we can give stats one, Ski. We'll do that. Last question.
Okay.
Last question. What's coming up for you in the near future? What can we expect?
So there's a lot of stuff. So we've got in the very, very short term, there's maybe going to be some World of Warships like ship reviews and stuff coming up. I need to do at some point. I hit 15,000 followers a few weeks ago, and I just haven't done anything yet because I've got a backlog of things that I need to do. So we're going to do something for that. I think maybe there's going to be some Among Us game or something. I also promised on a recent charity stream that I would do a stream where I sing or perform the Oasis song Wonderwall, which I hate. So I'm actually going to turn that into a complete music stream because I actually am quite musical. I play various instruments and sing and stuff. So I'm going to do a music stream where I play some songs that I actually like alongside Wonderwall. Thinking about doing that this Sunday, actually, maybe. I also, at some point, promised that I would dress in a suit, a wig, and a hat, and bathe my dog on camera. I don't know either, but that's going to happen at some point. But currently, at the moment, unfortunately, I've got a bit of a sore back, so I can't. She's a big dog, and I can't currently lift her into the bar. So I'm going to have to wait until my back settles down so I can actually do that. But that's coming up. Then we've got King of the Sea, which will be coming up in the spring. So hopefully, I'll be involved in that. There's also a couple of other tournaments that I'm involved in coming up soon. I think there's World of Warships. Which one is it? Platinum Classic. There's so many tournaments, Pops. I can't remember which one's which. But yes, there's a tournament coming up towards the end of January, which I'm casting, and much more, I'm sure.
How about cooking? I know you like to cook.
Yeah. Cooking? So I actually did a baking stream a few months ago, which was really fun. I love baking particularly, but I love cooking in general, but I love baking and making cakes and things. And so I made like 3 different types of baked goods on stream. It took like 5-6 hour stream, and it was really good fun. So I'm actually in the process at the moment of building a new PC. So once that one's built, I'm going to maybe repurpose the one that I'm using right now, put it into a smaller case and make it like a mobile streaming PC so that I can move it into different rooms and actually then stream from the kitchen, or if I'm doing like arts and crafts, because I'd like to do things like, models and things like that as well. So that's something that I'd like to do a lot more of, because the couple of that kind of stream that I've done, people have really liked them. So, and I've really enjoyed doing them. So I'd like to do some more of that.
Excellent. And folks, just for your information, this interview will be posted up on YouTube, usually within 24 hours. And in the comments section or in the description section, I'll have all of Statsbloke's contact information, his channels, social media, etc., etc. Stats, this has been awesome, man. I know we went fantastic. Over. It's about, but it's been awesome. It's been a good thing, and I'm hoping everybody here enjoyed it as much as I did. You know that I think the world of you, and I think your community thinks the world of you too. And we really
think the world of them, genuinely. I think all of us as streamers, in a very real sense, we are our communities. And, we wouldn't be doing this without you guys watching and interacting. And like the main reason that I stream, I had a guy come into my chat yesterday and he was like, play the game. You haven't been here before, have you? And I know like a lot of us in the World of Warships community, we're as much about the social side of it and the stopping and chatting to people and, oh, hi, how you doing? How's your wife? And all that kind of stuff, as we are about the game. And that's the bit of it that I genuinely enjoy. So, my guys who are still here, thank you for being that. Thank you for being the community. Thank you for interacting with me. I really enjoy it. And I guess, the Pops will feel exactly the same way about his community. And Pops, it's been a pleasure to watch your channel grow as well. And much success to you, because I think you definitely deserve it. You've done a great job.
Oh, thank you very much. It looks like Happa Fodder just dropped in. Happa, how are you?
Happa Fodder, how you doing?
He's on my interview list for not next week, but the week after. Next week, guys, Pops is going to have as a special guest Texas Hula. Stats, if you've never watched Texas Hula, you're in for a treat. He is absolutely awesome. You ride a motorcycle, don't you, Stats? I think we talked
used to.
about.
No, I don't have one. I don't have one right now. But back when I was a student, well, actually just after I was a student, and I didn't have any money. I couldn't afford to buy a car, but I could just about afford to buy a little 125cc motorbike. And so I had a little Honda 125 two-stroke. And I went everywhere on it, and it was great. So I've never had like a big bike, but and I grew up on the back of, like, my dad was a motorcyclist, and I grew up on the back of a motorbike. So yeah, I love motorbikes, but they're a bit, especially in the UK where our roads are very kind of windy and small. They're a bit dangerous here, so it's a bit of a risky thing to do. But yeah, I love bikes.
And we have I have some friends over just outside the London area that have been at me for years to come over. They've got Honda Gold Wings they'll let me use to tour the country. We just never, just
We have
never did
some
it.
of the best biking roads in the world, I think, here. They're just like beautiful, like, back and forth, just gentle, meandering roads through like leafy lanes. And it's just some of the best biking country in the world, I think, over here.
Right.
Through the mountains in Scotland and things like that. Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Do you have your Twitch page up? Do you have somebody we should raid?
Oh, let's have a look. Pop's Place is streaming.
Yeah, I think we're gonna pass on that one.
Who's on? We've got
It's your choice.
Kev. Kev is on. We could raid Kev. Kiwi Seep.
Hey,
Do you know Kev?
Yeah, he's the only guy streaming that's almost as old as I am. If I can spell it right. There he is. Oh, wow. All right, guys. Stats, thank you so much, man.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for coming in. And this, one thing I got to study up on is how to best close out these interviews. But saying thank you to everybody and just how much we all appreciate. I know I mirror Statsbloke when I say the community is what makes this so special and important for us and enjoyable. You guys in this community are simply, I'll use my word, phantasmagorical, and you can't be beat
That's
by
a good
any other.
word.
Yeah,
That's a good word.
I've actually got videos with that word in it, but that's another story for another time. All right, guys, we're gonna go raid Pkwy Seeb. And Stats, thanks again for coming up. Next week, guys, it's Texas Hula. So be sure to tune in to Fireside Chat with Pops. And let me see if I can get this raid going. And here we are. All right, Stats. Catch you later, my friend. Everybody,
Cheers.
Good night, everybody's. Hey, by the way, I'm streaming Elite Dangerous tomorrow. Don't.
Oh, excellent. Good choice.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. Good night, all. Get some rest,
Bye-bye.
Stats. It's late.
Will do. I didn't see a raid thing. You're hosting him. You're still live, Pops. I can still see the stream.
Well, my stream went over to Pkwy Seeb. Hang on, let me kill some of the mics here and kill this